Okay, welcome to the class EPPE3123 Industry and International Business. Tonight we're gonna go to my lecture notes. I'm gonna give you the background of the forces that are running or giving the basis actually for the complex system, the theoretical foundation. That's what I mean. So we're gonna start with this long-term trends and evolution of complexity. I'm gonna go over quickly wherever there is the place that I mark for me to explain. Otherwise, I'll skip. Yes, this this is we look at the literature on this. Okay, now long-term trends and the evolution of complexity. Okay. The Copernican revolution led to the first major breakthrough in our understanding of nature. This is to understand nature, because from nature we can relate to the complex system theory, and the subsequent Newton formulation we discussed the other night, that the complexities in the world under Newtonian paradigm is to reduce it into a single formula. That's a reductionist approach, which is opposite of complex system. So subsequent Newton formulation of mechanics, because complex system is not mechanics, it is not linear, but Newtonian paradigm reduces complexity into scientific formula, which is linear in a way. So whereas the opposite is for complex system, which is non-linear, and also a study away from equilibrium. Exerted an extraordinary influence on all branches of knowledge and understanding, but attempts to formulate social evolution in terms of classical dynamics served only to show that no useful relationships existed between them. There is no preferred direction into time in the classical equations of motion or in quantum mechanics is modern generalization. Neither is there the progressive complexification and diversification that characterizes living system. Moreover, even inside physics itself, it soon appeared that classical dynamics was not sufficient. It proved necessary to introduce a distinction between reversible and irreversible transformation or processes. Okay. In physics thermodynamics, there is irreversibility. Okay. An example of the former reversible is a wave propagation, reversible, with assumption that we neglect friction, and of the latter heat conduction. It is reversible. So we're talking about reversibility or irreversibility. Something that happened, you can reverse it. Something, on the other hand, something that happens, you cannot reverse it. You cannot bring back to the same condition. And that's true for social phenomenon also. Once the social phenomenon has changed, you cannot bring back, reverse it to the old. That's irreversibility. So complex system was studied at. So this distinction gives rise to the science of thermodynamics. Yes. Complex system comes from biology and physics, thermodynamics, and apply this into all other fields, including social science, which has two fundamental laws. So thermodynamics, physics, in physics have two fundamental laws. First, energy may be transformed. For example, from a chemical form to a mechanical one, as in an internal combustion engine, the car engine. Yeah, from chemical oil to a mechanical one, moving the piston. This energy can be transformed. But it is neither created nor destroyed, remaining constant in time. That's the first law of thermodynamics. Second law of thermodynamics introduces a direction to time by saying that an isolated system, one for which neither energy nor matter may enter or leave, we'll see the graph, the picture, what is isolated, will evolve through irreversibility or irreversible processes to the state of maximum entropy. So there are two things here, reversible and irreversibility. Like that. Reversible. I'm not sure the spelling. Reversible. See, reversible. Irreversibility, reversible. Okay, that's reversible. The opposite is irreversible. So we're talking about irreversibility. So the first law, fundamental law of thermodynamics is energy may be transformed, but it is neither created nor destroyed. Energy remains constant in time. That's first law of thermodynamics. Second law, direction to time, saying that in an isolated system, let me see if immediately we had the graph there. Yes, we have. This is long-term trend, no? Long-term trend. That's going to be next subtopic. Which go here to see immediately the picture of isolated. Isolated is like your thermos. You put hot water in your thermos, it will stay for many hours. There's an example of isolated. Let's look at the picture here. That's thermodynamics, physics. And this is, we have three types of system. This is an isolated system, like your thermos. Imagine this is your thermos. What is thermos? Hot water. Every time you boil water, you put in the thermos to keep it for the whole day. It is isolated. The water inside is isolated because it is insulated here. Okay, that's what we call isolated system. What? Matter cannot enter and cannot leave. Matter, whatever matter, anything. Ball, you throw something or whatever, any matter cannot enter and cannot leave. What's inside cannot leave. What is outside cannot enter. So matter cannot enter or cannot leave. Okay. Energy cannot enter or energy from inside cannot leave. So it is isolated. So we have three things actually. Matter, energy, and information. So this one, they don't say anything about information. But later on, with an open system, they will say something about information. Now, matter cannot enter or leave. Energy also cannot enter and or leave. This is isolated system. Let's go quick, right now, so that you can understand three types of system. This we apply to anything. community, you know, uh, city. This is isolated system. Secondly, there is a closed system. A closed system. But it is not isolated. This is isolated. You see the difference? Isolated, this is closed. Energy can be exchanged. Heat, for example, heat can enter and exchange. Matter cannot enter or leave because it is a closed system. But energy can. Suppose if you can see my wall here, suppose windows, everything is shut, closed. So the sun set, so the wall is hot. Matter cannot enter. Anyone, like a boy out there playing soccer, playing football, the ball cannot enter, matter cannot enter, but energy can enter, energy can exchange. The heat from the sun get to my wall, so I feel hot. It's a closed system because it's closed. So this is a closed system. Energy can be exchanged. For example, the heat from the sun can enter into the wall. If you here, you hot, feel it very hot because the wall is hot. Okay, but matter cannot enter. People throwing things to your wall, no, cannot enter. Rain cannot enter. Matter. So this is closed system, which can exchange energy, but matter cannot. The Earth, our Earth, affords to be an example of a closed system, our Earth. Second law of thermodynamics. We're talking about second law. Okay. Second law of thermodynamics. However, this type is second law. Before formulating this law, it is useful to classify various systems in the following way. Firstly, isolated, done, closed, and I'm going to read this. Our Earth is a good example, can be an example, affords an example of a closed system if we neglect the meteoritic falls and cosmic dust. So our Earth is a closed system. The Earth receives solar and stellar radiation, and itself radiates into the cold region of interstellar radiation. Figure 5. This is figure 5. The Earth is approximately a closed system. We have 3 systems. The last one is open system. Okay, 3. The first is isolated. Second one is open system. The third one is second one is closed system. The third one is open system. The closed system, our Earth is approximately a closed system. Our Earth can be an example of closed system. Look, the heat from the sun can go in, and also the Earth also reflects the heat. So that's radiation of heat. What it is? The Earth receives solar and stellar radiation. And itself, the Earth radiates into core regions. Radiates, bring up to the core region of interstellar radiation. So our Earth is an example of a closed system. Matter cannot enter or leave, but energy can be exchanged. Look, the matter cannot enter, but energy can be exchanged. Okay, there's closed system. The third type is an open system. Isolated, closed, open. Let me repeat. Isolated, closed, open. Now open system, in which free to exchange both matter and energy. Both matter and energy can be exchanged. With the external world, an open system. An amoeba, this is biology. Amoeba engulfing its food, an example of open system. Okay, isolated system, only energy can be exchanged. Sorry, isolated system, nothing can be exchanged. Isolated system, nothing can be exchanged. Matter cannot enter, energy cannot enter. Isolated system, nothing can be exchanged. Matter cannot enter, the matter already inside cannot leave. Energy cannot enter, energy already inside cannot leave. That's isolated. Nothing can be exchanged. Closed system, energy can be exchanged, but matter cannot. An open system, both energy and matter can be exchanged. Another example of open system is a city. City, town is open system. Now we start to say something. The third one, matter, energy. The third one is information. It is clearly a center of the flow of food, city. Food coming in, fuel coming in, building materials coming in, etc. coming in. People coming in, products coming in, services coming in, and also out. And it sends out finished products, send out, and also send out waste. This figure 7. This is a town or city and open system. In, out, both. Matter, energy, information. Open system. So all right. This is our second chapter or whatever chapter behind the one that I saw. Let me go back. The one before this. Now we understand the three types of this system. Interesting. You never thought that you'll be studying this. This is foundation to understand system, complex system. And should be interesting, should open up for you in the future a field of study, and you want to combine, integrate this into your actual field of study. So we go back here. Just now it came from here, the three types. So let's go back. Okay. The second law introduces a direction to time by saying that an isolated system, just now you saw what is isolated system, like a thermos, your hot water you put in there, or your coffee or tea you put in your thermos and carry to class. That's isolated. Coffee and tea, it is isolated inside your thermos from the surrounding. And that's why it can be kept at that temperature for the whole day. Isolated system. One for which neither energy nor matter may enter or leave. Energy and matter cannot leave. Cannot enter and cannot leave. Will evolve through irreversible process. Will evolve, will change through irreversible processes to the state of maximum entropy. Will evolve through a irreversible processes. So it's not and, that's plural. Irreversible processes, plural, to a state of maximum entropy. To the state of maximum entropy. What is entropy? The state here state, not country, not country, not that meaning, not government. State here means not condition. I want to say the condition. The state is the situation, but it's not close. Situation. See, I'm trying to say that state doesn't refer to the country, Malaysia, China, Thailand, Korea. Not that state, no. State is the condition of certain things at particular time. Entropy. Boltzmann has shown that the physical meaning of entropy is closely related to molecular disorder. So that evolves. A matter, after you heat it, will become in another state, another condition, another situation, which is disorder. There's no more order of that molecular. The second law then takes on its familiar form, saying that the entropy of the universe can only increase, and the ultimate fate of the universe is thermal death or total disorder. This type of evolution is clearly not the basis for the natural laws governing the evolution of living system. No, not that one. Instead, The second law of thermodynamics predicts a destruction of improbable molecular configurations and a tendency to establish uniformity. That's why that uniformity is what we have defined as emergence. The very basic point we have to take into account is that living systems are never isolated from their environment. All living systems must exchange energy and matter with their environment, whether it is an amoeba, human individual, ourselves, or a city. That's why this human individual, this can relate to uh, interactions for the production of technology. The human individual, we can represent that as scientists, engineers, human individual scientists. They interact with among them scientists, engineers. That's why this complex system can be applied for research and development, and study of research and development, study of technology development of a country or city. Therefore, follow isolation once reserves have been exhausted. The basis for any natural law describing evolution of social system must be physical laws governing open system, i.e. system embedded in their environment. Open system is a system that is together with the environment, with which they exchange matter and energy. An important element in the behavior of this system is far from equilibrium. This is what I've been stressing. Complex system is study of far from equilibrium. In the presence of feedback, interactions between the elements. Feedback. The more people use Google, the more people use Google. The more people use Google, the more people use Google. That's feedback process, positive feedbacks. The more people use Google, the more people use Google. The more people use Google, getting bigger. The more people use Google. The more people use Google, the less people use Yahoo as search engine. However, that's not happening. Google versus Baidu, because Baidu is specific for Chinese search engine. So, and that sustained in China because population of China is big and people continue to use Baidu as a search engine. Unless China is not, I mean the user in China is not that many, and Baidu may have a problem of scale, to sustain. But the scale is so large in China, meaning number of users, number of people in China, so huge. So far, Baidu has no problem in terms of competition with Google, because Baidu has its own niche, which is the market for is to serve the Chinese people or China. Between elements composing the system, if such interactions exist, then it is found that for a certain critical flow of energy and matter in and out of the system, a new type of structure, this is emergence, a new type of structure or organization may appear spontaneously. The structure resulting in these circumstances are entirely different from an equilibrium structure of a crystal. And there's also dissipative structure. Dissipative. Dissipative structure. A manifestation of self-organization. Yes. A matter goes through an evolution, goes through changes which are irreversible, cannot be returned back to old original state or condition or shape. And it goes through a new state through what? Self-organization. It organizes by itself. So such a phenomenon as self-organization, which would be a basis for our understanding of the evolution of biological, and this is our area, we're not biologists, social system. That social system can be a collection of engineers and technicians and government officers having to do with the development of technology in that country. The social system is heightened when we realize that all living systems do seem to possess this non-linear, another characteristic, non-linear feedback. Why? The more people use Google, the more people use Google. The more people use Google, the more people use Google. Non-linear. Same thing with WeChat. WeChat has no problem in terms of competition with other Western non-Chinese, because WeChat serves a big market in China. Kakao serves the Korean market, and it stays still on, and because there's a niche, most Koreans will be using Kakao, even to book a taxi using Kakao, not Grab. Nonlinear. The complicated catalytic action of enzyme, this is biology, and nucleotides, the chemical interactions of insects, societies, and the complex relationships between goal-seeking members of a society, social behavior, are just three examples. So, the evolution of dissipative structures, one phase of the system behaves deterministically, according to the average values of variable involved. While on the other hand, a fluctuation is amplified until it changes the entire structure, whereupon the former phase recommences, begins again in a different circumstances. The exact nature of the fluctuation is inherently unpredictable. So another characteristic, it is unpredictable from the knowledge of average values. So the evolution of dissipative structure is a self-determining sequence according to the scheme. Self-organizing, self-determining. Okay. That's my handwriting with pencil, of course. Okay, terms entering the equation of population dynamics. For example, population dynamics, if you study social science. And this solution of these equations and fluctuation. So function, structure, they are all interacted. And fluctuation. Function of certain thing, structure. So they are interrelated. The function will determine the structure. The structure also will determine the function. And there's a fluctuation there. Appearance of genetic mutants, evolution, behavioral change can be amplified. Social and cultural and technological evolution. Look, I already add here social, cultural, and technological evolution. So this evolution through fluctuation will impact the structure and also the function. In ecosystem, functions corresponds to the terms entering the equation of population dynamics, expressing birth and death, competition, predation, and parasitism. The structure resulting is the solution of this equation, describing then the trophic organization of the ecosystem at a given time. If we identify fluctuations with the appearance of genetic mutants, this biology, then our description is of the biological evolution, embracing both Darwinian and Lamarckian ideas, since it is not necessary to specify exactly the mechanism of mutation. In fact, the fluctuations can equally well correspond to the behavioral change. And if imitative mechanisms are present in the ecosystem, fluctuations that can be amplified. Let's move on. I only explain the parts that's important. If you turn now, that was biology. If we apply this to social system, what is social system? Social system. So apply it to our field. We are non-engineering, so social science. The first question we may ask is what features there are in common between the functioning of our society and that of a dissipative structure that will give a new structure. Firstly, societies have complex non-linear interactions. Yes, that's what society is. That's what buyers of a certain product is. And that's the demand side. Supply side also, there's complex non-linear interactions among firms and the supplier within the supply chain. It is non-linear interaction as well. That's for a product. What about for technology? It's not product. Now for technology, non-linear interactions among scientists, among engineers, and also venture capitals that give the money capital. Non-linear interactions among them that will create new technology. Between the elements derived from the cooperation and conflicts involved in the attempts of individuals and groups to attain their goals. Secondly, they are subject to local behavioral fluctuations, meaning that sometimes new behavior can appear, such as an invention, an invention, a modification of group organization, or a new goal or belief. And this can either be suppressed by the social environment or will grow and spread until the society itself is modified. That's a social system. What about technology system as well? Until the technological landscape itself, I changed the word here, until the technological landscape itself is modified or changed. Here again, we find the dual aspects of change and determinism. And the theory briefly described here and discussed in more detail below should therefore serve as a background for discussion on the evolution of social system. One of the main problems which characterizes social system is that of defining the variables in terms of which value judgments are made. We may summarize this brief discussion summary by saying that this mechanism for understanding long-term trends in complex self-organizing systems does not reduce the possibilities of change. Change can always occur, and this theory in new dimension of freedom. However, understanding of the evolutionary mechanism of complex system will permit qualified predictions to be made, and doing so lessen the risk of inherent in following certain path. Oh, that's it. So let's go to next, the one that we saw that briefly. The evolution of complexity and the laws of nature. So 2 minutes break only. Okay, I'm back. Evolution of complexity and the law of nature. It follows that this complex system follows the law of nature because it comes from biology and physics thermodynamics. And of course, both follow the law of nature. And so, is economics follow the law of nature as well? For example, if there is high demand, the price will go up. That's the law of nature. Unlike other field, another one which is law follows the basic value of right and wrong, but you can purposely unright, or you can purposely make something wrong to be right, and you can purposely make something right to be wrong, because men can play with that, the law, even though basically follow what is right or wrong. But physics, biology, economics, you cannot make something wrong right. You cannot make something right to be wrong, because it follows the basic nature, law of nature. When the demand is high, prices will go up. When supply is a lot, prices will go down, not the other way. So that follows the law of nature, economics as well. So in a working paper, Mankind in Transition, the evolution of global society, it's a long quotation here. Where is it? Finished. Oh, here, finished there. Oh. Is our age or rapid, sorry, is our age of rapid and often unforeseen change an aberration in the evolutionary history of our species? Aberration. An unprecedented event. Or can we discern the general thrust of the change by putting it into a historical context? Discern, get, to understand, discern. Analyzing the patterns in the evolution of complexity notes that there is a growing indication that the biological and social cultural evolution are aspects of the same fundamental process of evolution in nature. Look at the biology and social cultural. What is social cultural? Biology, usually animals. Social cultural are human, people, us. Socio cultural, us, mankind, are basically aspect of the same fundamental process of evolution in nature. Of course, animals and human not the same, but that evolution process in nature. It is precisely this indication that we analyze in the present essay. Let us that. Okay, I'm gonna go straight, right? The classical mechanics, which is the science. Science is opposite of complex system because science reduces complex systems, studies the complex things, induces. Classical mechanics has been immensely successful in dealing with problems concerning trajectories, such as, for example, the planetary orbits within our solar system. The scope of classical mechanics has been greatly enlarged by the formulation of quantum mechanics and relativity theory. Relativity theory is it MC to the power of 2, Einstein, yeah, Einstein relativity theory. Nevertheless, there remains a gap between consideration of dynamics, even when quantum or relativistic effects are induced, gap between consideration of dynamics, the gap between dynamics and the problems of evolution, diversification, and innovation that interest us here. Basically, classical dynamics reduces classical dynamics, again, just like science, Newtonian paradigm reduces the physical world to the trajectories of world lines, such as here, world lines. In the case of a one-dimensional universe, the position of xt of a test practice, xt, is a function of time, is represented by each trajectory. The important feature here is that dynamics makes no distinction between the future and the past. Dynamics makes no distinction between, no difference between the future and the past. Both the motion A, forward in time, and B, backward in time, are possible. However, we cannot describe processes involving evolution in any non-trivial way without introducing the concept of direction of time. I'm checking. Did I really share this? Yeah, I did. However, we cannot describe processes involving evolution in any non-trivial way without introducing the concept of directions of time. We must introduce that concept, direction of time. Obviously, new tools are necessary. So now, complex system has to do with non-equilibrium. Non-equilibrium thermodynamics. However, to solve this, we use non-equilibrium thermodynamics. Provides us with important clues about where to probe for the formulation of new structures. So it is useful to use non-equilibrium physics thermodynamics. Recent development in fluctuation theory provide information concerning how self-organization in non-equilibrium system may arise and lead to a new type of order. So societal change also, new type of order. What has happened in Germany? A new type of order. What has happened in Vietnam? A new type of order. But it was tried in China. A new type of order. It was tried. We have described this type of order as order through fluctuations. To contrast it with order in equilibrium system. So this study is non-equilibrium. So that order arises through fluctuation. Similarly, such branches of mathematics as stability theory and the theory of bifurcation. So theory of bifurcation is complex system. Laws of nature. Rather, these aspects of life appear to be in conformity with these laws when the important features of non-equilibrium and non-linearity are taken into account. So our field of complex system is non-equilibrium and non-linear. This is Boltzmann order principle. We don't want to go through. This is heat conductor in a bar. Initial state, final state. This A, B. Temperature B, this is a distance. Temperature G, B, temperature A. B is lower, A is higher. So when you heat something, it spread. So become like this. The temperature, or if you leave something, will achieve this temperature, stable at that. So final state. That's heat conduction in the bar, metal bar. This type of behavior is described as second law of thermodynamics. So we borrow complex system basis, foundation, roots from physics thermodynamics second law. What is second law? Was it in the first note? We go back to the first note. The second law of thermodynamics, physics thermodynamics, the direction of time. Introduce the direction to time by saying that an isolated system, one for which neither energy nor matter may enter or leave, will evolve through irreversible process to the state of maximum entropy. This second law of thermodynamics. Irreversibility, irreversible process. First law, energy may be transformed. It is neither created nor destroyed. Energy is not created and not destroyed. It is transformed from one place to another. That's the first law. Second law gives the direction to time, which way. So it will evolve through irreversible process to the state of maximum entropy in the case of isolated. So to a state of entropy. Entropy means reduction into something, and with the dissipative process, dissipative, will emerge a new characteristic, a new material. That's emergence. Okay. Again, what is the second law of thermodynamics? Process of irreversible or evolve, something evolve in through irreversible process. Something evolve means that it changes through a process, evolve through a what process? Irreversible process to another state, to another condition, to another material or characteristics, you know. So the second law of thermodynamics, let's go back to that note. Boltzmann, we're gonna skip it. Only look at this graph. Second law of thermodynamics. However, before formulating this law, useful to look at this, the three types of system. We learn it: isolated, closed, and open system. City, suppose this is Silicon Valley, where you know Silicon Valley, where the high-tech firms are there. So we can study technology development in a certain area, geography area, through complex system studies. What if this is a Shenzhen? We can study Shenzhen, or the computer, ICT, electronics firms, everything in Shenzhen. What if this is a Daejeon? It's a science city in Korea. What is this Toyota city in Japan? Automobile city. Thermodynamics deals with the general principle governing the evolution of microscopic systems formed by a large number of molecules. This large number of molecules, thermodynamics. This is metal. Many molecules or particles. The first law of thermodynamics, what was it? Energy is not created or destroyed, not destroyed also. Energy are exchanged. Expresses the conservation of energy. Any change of energy must result from energy transfers across boundaries. The second law, which is irreversible, however, deals with the distinction between reversible and irreversible process. This distinction introduces a preferential direction of time. To express this distinction quantitatively, one can introduce a new function, namely entropy. Entropy. Entropy, as S with the symbol S, is change in the small time interval dt. Is written as ds. It is made up of two terms. The first is DES, is the transfer of entropy across the boundaries of the system. There's a boundary of the system. For example, UKM as a system, boundary is the boundary of UKM. The second DIS is the entropy produced within the system. We have therefore this produced within the system, transfer across the boundaries. So this is the change in a small time interval of dt is written as ds, which is made out of entropy across the boundaries of the system plus the entropy produced within the system. So the basic feature of entropy production is identification with irreversible processes. The second law of thermodynamics assumes that the entropy production is positive and due entirely to irreversible processes, more than zero. And we skip this and this is irreversible process. For example, you put gas, something that's in middle there, example, you take out and become like this. You cannot reverse back again. The gas all becomes spread just like that. Distribution of molecules between two compartments, entropy, so it becomes spread like that. So we skip all those. This is just introduction to you, okay? Amazing, people have done work on this. Low temperature distribution, high temperature distribution, low temperature, high temperature distribution. Look, the particles, molecules spread is low or connect all up here. Snow is also not the same. Look at the snow. Ice formation or snow formation. Look at this. Interesting. Don't take the nature for granted. There's always science in the nature. Okay, let's read. It may appropriately be called Boltzmann order principle. It is of paramount importance as it is capable of describing anomalous an enormous variety of structures, including, for example, some as complex and delicately beautiful as snow crystal. This is self-organizing. It organizes by itself. Nobody is, we cannot make it to happen this way. It's self-organized. Typical ice crystal describable by the Boltzmann order principle. States that system, this is the order principle, in the course of time, tend moving toward the most probable state, as given by the number of corresponding complexions. This leads to an increase of the entropy S for the isolated system, or a decrease of free energy F in the closed system. It is very interesting to note that the formulation of the second law, as presented in equation 1 and 2, applies both to non-equilibrium and equilibrium situation, but we study non-equilibrium. However, even in classical physics, there are many phenomena where non-equilibrium may lead to order. What is order? Something which is nicely put, nicely ordered, arranged. That arrangement is self-organizing, self-arranged. When we apply a thermal gradient to mixture of two different gases, we observe an enrichment of one of the components at the hot wall while the other concentrates at the cold wall. This phenomenon already observed is called thermal diffusion. This is the biology overall. Okay, we skip. It's in biology. Our point of view is entirely different. That living processes, far from being in any way outside nature, on the contrary, following from the laws of physics appropriate to specific nonlinear interactions and to conditions far from equilibrium, far away from equilibrium. These specific features may then permit the flow of energy and matter to build and maintain functional and structural order. The house cannot be understood outside of the culture in which it is embedded. Furthermore, the house is an open system and cannot be understood in isolation. The same is true for biomolecules. So we have to understand the structure of the medium in which protein forms. In other words, our aim is to understand biological and social structure as phenomena which are both influenced by and can themselves act on their environment, as phenomena occurring spontaneously in open system maintain far from equilibrium. The dissipative structure the main conclusion that we can draw from is that biological and social organization involves a new type of structure which has a different origin and requires a different explanation from that of equilibrium structure, such as crystal. So done with that. Another 3 minutes break. I'm going to deal with the dealing with scale. Show this first. Three minutes. Dealing with scale. Everything has scale. Every phenomena has scale. Let me share with you my personal concept of scale. When I was young, I was riding bicycle. I saw ants on the ground. Ants on the ground. And a little hum or hole. A little hump or hole on the road surface when I ride bicycle. For ants, that little hump is like, for the ants, hump equal mountain. For the ants. Hole for the ant equals a lake. But for us, the bicycle tire is nothing. The little hump is nothing. Little hole is nothing. But for ants, they are mountain. For ants, that hole is like a lake. That's what we call scale. So that was my perspective. I was thinking about that when I was young too. There's seldom one ideal scale to which to conduct an ecosystem assessment that will suit several purposes. The Millennium Ecosystem Assessment advocates multi-scale approach. If you want to study environment, many environmental problems originate from the mismatch between the scale at which ecological processes occur and the scale at which decisions on them are made. So, choice of scale and boundaries of an assessment is not politically neutral. Ecosystem processes and the services they deliver are typically most strongly expressed, most easily observed, and have their dominant drivers and consequences at particular scales in space and time. The geographical space, spatial and temporal scales are often closely related. Define the scale domain of the process. Social, political, economic process conducted can be more readily observed at some scale than others. So we're just gonna skip very quickly. Just skipping. Social process, characteristic scale in time and space for some ecological and social process. There's the ecological system, This is the human system. Look at human system. Log number of people. This is temporal scale, log year. So social group, decision, policy, law, constitution, culture. So this log number of people, this is log that temporal scale, that the time, months, year, decade, century, millennium. The fad, something products, become popular, fad. Small group decision, so in months only, the scale. Values, what's right or wrong, it takes years, the scale to change. Yes, something change according to the scale. Law, traditions take decades. Traditions take a century to change, and culture and so millennium. See, scale is important. That's why they have their own, reference. I mean, they change accordingly. If you study exchange rate can change. Morning different, noon time different, closing different, exchange rate, and every day changes. But the rate of inflation change at a longer reference of time, maybe a quarter, which is 3 months, or maybe 1 month, not every day. At least 1 month, the scale, not everyday inflation changes. Yeah, again, technology breakthrough, yes. That the knowledge can be every year, but the breakthrough cannot be every year. The breakthrough, the products, really, the breakthrough can be 5, 10 years. I think that's about it that I want to share with you on this subtopic of scale. So now, this we will have little time, but I'm gonna skip only maybe showing you the paragraph. Order through fluctuation. Things fluctuates, then they create another order, another arrangement. That's self-organizing and emergence. Okay. In order to analyze further the mechanism of self-organization, we have to introduce the concept of stability. To introduce that, because something that changes will come to a stop at a stable condition. Let's look at the graph, the diagram after this coming up. Genius Okay, balance of the block on point of the triangle coming up the graph. Yes. Then, although this is theoretically a possible equilibrium state, the tiniest perturbation no perturbation. Okay, perturbation, yeah, perturbation, yes. Even a small tiniest perturbation will cause a triangle to leave the initial state and move to a stable one, namely resting on a flat side. Little perturbation, if you touch with your, just little bit with your hand, if assume it was like this, stable condition, if touch by hand, touch it, it'll and go to the stable condition. This is the stable. So block initially in unstable stationary, which is temporary, unstable stationary state, moves to a stable state. Move to a stable state. And you can apply this to many things. Stock market, technology innovation and breakthrough, political system, election, and so on. Now, in the system we have discussed previously, which are made of multitude of subunits, any given state will always undergo small local perturbations due to the random movement of these subunits. Thus, the stability of a given state is constantly being explored, and the persistence of any state therefore presupposes its stability. Any small fluctuation, okay, wait, in chemical system near equilibrium, for example, the source of fluctuations of concentrations molecular motion, as has been discussed, however, near equilibrium the system always moves to the state of minimum free energy, and this fact guarantees the stability of the state. Any small fluctuations will be accounted by a response of the system which bring back to its state of minimum free energy. Minimum free energy. This, you don't need to spend energy to stay this way. But this way, stationary, unstable, you need to conserve the energy. If external energy is pushed to this block, the block will fall. So we don't want to go there. Skip all this. Close relations between stability and fluctuations. A dissipative structure can be considered a giant fluctuation, stabilized by exchanges of matter and energy. This mechanism should be constructed with Boltzmann principle, which is valid for equilibrium. On the other hand, we are talking about dissipative structure. The macroscopic order, which arises after an instability, is determined by the fastest growing fluctuation. Okay, this example chemical mechanism, function, space and time structure, and fluctuation. This is stochastic. In statistics, stochastic means it is random. And this is deterministic, not random. Function and space-time structure, not random. Deterministic. This is the fluctuation is random. Random, not random. So to use the language of our field, which is social science, function can be viewed as being the microstructure of the system, while the large-scale spatial or spatio-temporal organization correspond to a macrostructure. A fluctuation leads to a local modification of the microstructure. Inside the function, there's micro and macrostructure. Fluctuations will lead to the local modifications of microstructure, which, if the regulation mechanism prove inadequate, will change the macrostructure. This in turn determines the spectrum of the macrostructure. This in turn determines the spectrum of the future fluctuation that may occur. Find that societies function as a machine. Thus, we find here a natural expression of the idea that societies function as a machine, referring to the deterministic periods between instability. That period between instability and society as being dominated by critical events. Example, great men, statesmen, great men that changed the country, which occur at the points of instability. Far from opposing chance, the necessity, we see that both aspects are essential in the description of nonlinear system, far from equilibrium. We skip all this, skip all the distributive structure. Skip all this. Far from equilibrium. We study here. Economics, study here. Equilibrium. Complex systems, study far from equilibrium. This. Exponential growth. In complex system, it is always like this, non-linear. That's it. We have one more slide. We can model industrialization. Just show you. This is using Stella, and that's what I used. This is, we're not going to do programming. This is just one topic of our class. So to do this, we have to have the whole class courses for this. Okay, and then next I'm going to show you. Yeah, this is we model just now. Okay, we can see that from my paper, I did the modeling for national evaluation system as a complex system. So just quickly, here this is concept. This is the concept of technology development, which is to create wealth. And the center, university, public industries, okay. And then I use the model using Stella, this modeling. I did the simulation of technology development using Stella. This is this is a Stella program. We do this, we draw and we take like this, and that's it. Let's finish that one. This is from famous economist Paul Krugman, Nobel Prize winner in economics. His field is the same as mine, international economics. And even more, his field is same as mine. He likes international economics. He also likes complex system. He likes complex system. He also likes what I like, new economic geography. I like economic geography. What is economic geography? It's a study of why certain firms locate. Locate means being, having the location. Why certain firms locate where they are, and what are the factors affecting their decision to locate there. That's economic geography. Interesting. So we end up, when we have the same interest, we end up doing the same thing. That's what economics is all about. I mean, the field of academician, they both like the same thing. International economics, complex system, economic geography, three things together. So me and Paul Krugman are the same, having the same field of interest. So you are exposed tonight. You never thought that an economist, famous economist, would be doing this instead of doing all the study of interest rate, exchange rate, inflation. Sounds repetitive and boring too. This is Paul Krugman, 70 years now, influenced by, see it again, I like to read Stiglitz. So we end up liking the same thing. Education, Yale University, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, PhD in economics. The best university in the world, not Harvard. And then he worked at Princeton for many years, London School of Economics as well, and City University of New York. Field international economics, that's what I'm teaching. And he also, well, he that tradition of new Keynesian economics. Don Bush, wow, Don Bush is this macroeconomist. Don Bush was his supervisor at MIT. Wow. Yes, notice Don Bush solo, yeah, John Maynard Keynes, international trade theory, that's what I teach at UKM, new trade theory, well, new economic geography, yes. Uh, Nobel Prize in economics, which year? For his contribution in new trade theory and new economic geography. Which year? 2008. He got this Nobel Prize in 2008. This is a contribution, new trade theory and new economic geography. So let's look at what he writes. Interesting. How the economy organizes itself in space, not that space to the sky, space, geographical space. I think I have to stop soon. I don't want to get too tired. Uh, what is it? Yeah. A survey of new economic geography. Introduction, Silicon Valley. Yeah, already. Agglomerations. You know, the clustering. Cluster. Agglomerations. Agglomeration. Just simply that. Silicon Valley. Firms agglomerates, cluster, come together and be together, sit together. Not sit together. They are located together. They are located inside, not together, nearby. In a okay, in a place, Silicon Valley. So the spatial economy from space, not that space up in the sky. Spatial. Evidence of self-organizing system. Self-organized. Characterized by path dependent. Factor actually. Suppose Suppose the main activities of the dynasty king or dynasty long time ago, and resources are there, and everything, all the activities, all the resources, all the people. Suppose because the river big river, I make up a story, not true. Suppose the river is not going through Beijing, but in Yunnan. Today, the capital of China is Yunnan, not Beijing. Same thing happened to Malaysia. Tin, tin, the mineral tin, was found in Kuala Lumpur. The name of Kuala Lumpur estuary, Kuala Lumpur. That's the meaning of Kuala Lumpur, mud, estuary of river. Because tin was found there, and they open up the business of finding the tin, and that creates the business, the industry there. Instead of mining the tin, and the miners need to eat, and there's a shop for places to eat. The miners or the company needs to save money to pay salary. So there's a bank. So that's how city grow, and it grows in Kuala Lumpur. What happened? What happened if that tin was found in Bangi, in Kajang, Bangi, near UKM? So today, Bangi, near UKM, today, Bangi is the capital of Kuala Lumpur. Not Kuala Lumpur, the capital of Malaysia. Because suppose tin was found here in Bangi. So today, Bangi is the capital of Malaysia. There's path dependence, which is the path of a growth of something, the path. What is the path? The road, the way, path. Is dependent, the path of the growth of something, a town becoming city, becoming capital, or technology development also. The city also, in this case, he described the city, Krugman describes the path dependent on the historical factor, just now as I subscribed. Was dependent on the historical factor. Path dependent is domain which interactions of individual decisions produces unexpected emergent behavior. Interactions of individual decision in the city produces unexpected emergent behavior at the aggregate level. Its dynamic landscape are typically rugged and evolution of spatial economy. Spatial economy, the space, economy on the geographical space, spatial economy. Typically involves punctuated equilibria. Wow, punctuated equilibria. Punctuated equilibria. Equilibria means many equilibrium. Many equilibria. Equilibria means many. Plural. Equilibrium is singular. Equilibrium, one only. Equilibrium, one only. Equilibria, many. Plural. In which gradual change in the driving variables leads to occasional discontinuous change in the resulting behavior. So this is theoretical model. Two is a model. Complexity, economic geography so naturally leads to typical complexity themes, complex system. Emergence of spatial structure, spatial, we call it spatial model. Shelling segregation model. This is shelling. Initial. So people live and they organize themselves accordingly. People, where they want to live. So look at this. Emerge a new pattern. Initial, and after that, segregation model. They cluster together. Perhaps the poor will be here, poor. The rich will be here, all rich. Because of housing prices. So critical mass, again, we studied, this is a critical mass. We studied that in network effects. This is S-curve. This example, multiplier-based model, increasing returns create critical mass behavior. Increasing return model creates a critical mass after that. Self-organization, path dependence, discontinuous change, linkages, complex dynamics, bifurcation. We study in network effects bifurcation. Mercedes-Benz on BMW, Google or Yahoo, Android or iOS. Bifurcation. And linkages and agglomerations. And complex dynamics. There's a centrifugal force, centripetal force. Wow, linkages. This in economic geography. I learned that in economic. Centrifugal force. In fact, I took a few courses in economic geography as well. So me and Krugman, the same in terms of the interest. Centripetal centripetal force of linkages. Petal, centrifugal. Complex dynamics, and until finally this three-region model. CTA. It's getting more interesting. Wait, just wait until I show you the graph, then we can. Suppose this is the three main city: Beijing, Shanghai, Chongqing. Three main cities. So there is a forces of people or firms going to move attracted to Beijing or attracted to Shanghai or attracted to Chongqing. This the flows bifurcation trade. This is race track model. Race track model. One particular geometry that's useful in spite of its artificially what is might be called race track model in a circle. Turing analysis. Again, we see Turing. This man, the computer, Alan Turing. Okay, considerable insight into the reason why simulations on the racetrack model simulations build such irregularity and more generally into the nature of self-organization in a spatial geographic location or spatial economies can be gained by applying an analytical approach originally suggested by Alan Turing. Later on, we study that one. But let me show. This is the racetrack economy. This is described by the economist who writes a textbook on microeconomics, and also textbook on international economics. And his area is international trade. Trade theories. This is by Krugman. Emergence of spatial structure in a racetrack economy. This is the description of how economy organizes itself as a city. Economic temperature, Krugman, okay, type of cities, log of city size, future research, and that's it. This is appendix. International trade theory, complexity, gives some complementary, urban system, trade theory, that's what we teach. Center place theory, this is economic geography, this is appendix. Interesting. So I think we have to stop here. Let me see. Cellular. Yes, last one. Cellular automation. Cellular automata is one example of complex system. Self-organizing. Yeah. Example of self-organizing. The famous one will be the Conway's Game of Life. They self-organize, given the rules, set of rules. You must do this, you must be this, and then they self-organize. Cellular automaton. Singular, cellular automaton. Singular, cellular automata, plural. Interesting. I'm not playing a game. If I play this game, don't think I'm wasting your time. I'm showing you a complex system, part of the complex system, which is self-organizing. Who is that? John Conway. Who is that? Mathematician. Okay, and we finish with our. I think we have to. We can stop here. Uh, Giving the foundation of understanding of self-organization, and yet uh, the notes inside here, and also the video on complexity, uh, the application also. You have to go to my YouTube, subscribe. Yes, please subscribe to my YouTube, because interaction assignment is there. I am a future on technology. Go to my playlist. So subscribe, please subscribe to my YouTube, to my, this is disruptive technology, one of our topic, and complex system. Oh, not that one. I want to only. Okay, Assalamualaikum and good evening. Good afternoon. We're gonna start with the complex system today. We're gonna. Okay, I want you to subscribe my YouTube. Go to playlist I shouldn't push that one. When I get, don't make any more mistake. Go to the complex system. Phew, full list. That's what I wanted to do. I make a mistake. I push that. See, yeah. Now, system thinking, basic system thinking, law first, thermodynamic second law, entropy, Boltzmann, what is complex system theory, system thinking, overview, nonlinear, uh, complex social network analysis, and I forgot to add. So I have to take from here system innovation. Forget to add on the technology. To add to my playlist on this one. System change course, global cities live event, global cities webinar. Full list, don't play there. Full list. That's the mistake I did. So from full list we can see two videos only. So must be not there. Just one time. Back. Okay, this one. System change course. System changes, theory of change, adaptive cycle, two loops, holistic mapping. Not this one, not this one. Blockchain also. Yeah, complex system design, complex design, network system design, life cycle design, platform technologies. Uh, I think the other nights I showed that one. Platform technology is what? Platform. Baidu is platform. WeChat is a platform using platform technology. Facebook is a using platform technology, modular, event-driven design thinking. Complexity economics as well. Complex engineering system. This is make a mistake. Just want to see the list. Beautiful list.
Every time we buy a product in the supermarket,
Yes, technology system. Technology system. Complex engineering system. Information control system. Wow. Amazing. Social technical system. Technology self-organization. Yes. You gotta watch this one. Engineering system. technology path dependency, technology system. Wow, amazing. Technology network analysis, technology convergence, technology system evolution.
In this video, we'll be talking about the process of self-organization in complex engineered systems. We'll firstly talk about why self-organization is a key feature and characteristic to these technologies. We'll then go on to discuss the basic ingredients that are required and the process through which these systems self-organize. Finally, we'll